Good afternoon and welcome to the Thursday Thought. Well, today is indeed Thursday, the day before the big snow. Now, according to all the weather folks for the past several days, a big snowstorm is due to come our way here in Kansas and also in points south and east of here. Some areas farther south are going to experience, they say, extreme ice storms and the cold. On Saturday, they're forecasting a high of 6 degrees for Wichita. That's 6, just one digit. Sunday, they say, won't be much better with a forecast high of about 11. Now, that could all change. We've seen it happen before. Movement of just 40 or 50 miles either north or south by the system low pressure center that's driving all of this can make a big difference in just how much snow or ice comes our way. So, even though the forecasts are not always on point a couple of days before the event, we here at the church are taking precautions. We're discussing not holding services on Sunday. We're working with the snow removal people that we've hired. We're setting thermostats so things don't freeze up in the building, those kinds of things. And we're also taking some precautions personally, filling up gas tanks, planning ahead. We aren't stocking up on tons of water, toilet paper, or food. We've got enough normally at the house for what we're going to need for quite some time in the future. Now, the wife's doing her regular weekly grocery shopping today, and I expect she'll pick up the usual assortment of things, nothing special. I did buy a new snow shovel yesterday, but only because the old one is, well, indeed old, and the plastic's cracked and broken to the point that it doesn't even work very well anymore. I've been intending to get a new shovel for the past several months, and I've just put it off. We have bird seed for our winter feathered friends sufficient to weather the storm. We don't have any place we have to be or go this weekend, so everything ought to be okay. Now, I also know that from time to time this weekend, I'll be thinking of some of those that I know who are spending their time outdoors in the cold. I'm hopeful that they'll seek shelter at the Second Light facility in downtown Wichita. However, many have mental health issues that prevent them from wanting to shelter, or they have behavior issues that keep them out. They're still people. They're still human beings. They still are made in the image of God. We can do what we can, but sometimes what we can do isn't enough. People still become ill outside. People still die. It's something that we sometimes have to admit that we should do what we reasonably can do and let the rest, those things, circumstances, and situations that we can't control, go. That works for several areas of life and living. All too often, it seems, we try to control the outcome of something so it ends up the way we want it to end. We become increasingly frustrated, stressed, and upset as things continue down the path we have not selected. We seem to be powerless to switch the track, so to speak, to make things turn out our way. The advice to do what we reasonably can do and give the rest to God, that's good advice. We don't know the long term. We don't know what's at the end of the track. We don't know what God has planned, and we don't know what he is carrying out. Think of the story of Joseph in the Old Testament. Hated by his older brothers, thrown down an old dry well in the desert by them, brought out of that pit and sold by his brothers to an Egyptian to be made a slave. Later, he was imprisoned for something he did not do. And eventually, though, Joseph's life was one that saved his entire family and actually the nation of Israel from a great famine and brought them into the land of Egypt to live. Joseph's message to his family at the end of it all was, and I'm quoting here, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Sometimes we need to be taught the lesson that God indeed is in charge. We should do what we reasonably can do, but we need to recognize that God ultimately controls the outcome. And sometimes I believe God intentionally paints us into a corner in order to get that lesson across to us and to show us His awesome power, mercy, and the work that He does. Well, whatever demons you're fighting right now, do what you reasonably can do. Then pray. Pray for God's will to be done. Let it go and let God. Blessings.